Hi children, welcome to my channel Easy Learning. So today let us discuss the first chapter in 10th standard science, that is life process. So what is meant by life process? Life process means all the different processes which is needed for the organism to survive on the earth. That is the basic functions, what is needed for the organism, all the basic functions which it involves the life process. So before going to the definitions and all the different processes, let us see what is the main criteria to know that particular organism is alive or not. How can you know that an organism is alive? So the main criteria for knowing that the particular organism is alive, it is movement. This particular point, it is a very important 1-mark question it is. That is, what is the main criteria to know that the particular organism is alive or not? So the main criteria which is used to know that the organism is alive or not, it is movement. So how can you differentiate between plants and animals? How can you know that plants will move? How the animals? We know that the animals, they can move. It can be seen with our naked eyes, isn't it? So the animals, they move from one place to another in search of food, shelter, etc. But whereas, how can you observe that the plants, they are alive? Or how can you observe the movement which takes place in plants? So if we are putting a seed into the soil, it will sprout and then germinate and it grow into a small sapling. That sapling may grow into a small plant and then it may grow into a big tree. So here, what is the main thing which is taking place in the plants? That is, the growth is taking place. That is a sort of movement. So from this, we can understand that the plants are also alive. So movement is the main criteria to know that the particular organism is alive or not. So before moving on to the main functions, that is the main life processes, first we should know what are the different characteristic features of living organism. So total there are 7 characteristic features of living organism. Already these characteristic features you have studied in earlier classes, that is in 6th standard, even though in detail you will be studying in 10th standard. Okay, so here what are the main important characteristics which is present in the living beings? So first one, that is all living organisms, they need food. So all living organisms, they need food. Second one, all living organisms, they grow. All living organisms, they grow. Third one, all living organisms, they respire. Fourth one, all living organisms, they excrete. Fifth one, all living organisms, they respond to stimuli. Sixth one, all living organisms, they reproduce. And last important characteristic feature is that all living organisms, they move. So these are considered to be the 7 important characteristic features which is necessary for all the living beings. That is, all living organisms, they need food. All living organisms, they grow. All living organisms, they respire. They excrete, they respond to stimuli, they reproduce and move. So now let us move on to the life process. Already I have explained the definition. So once again I will repeat the definition, that is life process means it is a basic function which is needed for the living beings for its survival on the earth. So what are the main basic functions which is needed for the organism to be alive on the earth? So in that, first one, it is nutrition. Second one, it is respiration. Third one, it is transportation. Fourth one, it is excretion. Fifth one, it is control and coordination. Sixth one, it is growth and development. And seventh one, it is reproduction. So these are considered to be the main basic functions of the living organism. All these are considered to be the basic function means Without this function, the organism cannot be alive, because nutrition is necessary, because food is necessary for the organism to live. Respiration is necessary. They have to take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Respiration is necessary. Transportation. So whatever it is being taken inside the body, it should be transported to each and every part of the body for the growth and development. Then whatever substances which is not needed for the living organism, it should be given out, or it should be removed out from the body of the organism. That is excretion. Then control and coordination. The organism, in order to do its action, there is some control and coordination should be done by the organ known as the brain. So control and coordination is necessary. And reproduction, in order to give birth to young ones of their same kind, so that that particular species may be present on the earth for many years, generation after generation. So reproduction is also very, very important. So all these 7 basic functions, it makes the living organism to be alive on the earth. So these are considered to be the main basic function. So in this chapter, you will be learning nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. The first life process, 4 life processes you will be learning in this particular chapter, that is life process. So first we move on to the first life process, that is nutrition. First life process in this particular chapter, it is nutrition. So before going to the definition of nutrition, you should know how the energy is obtained for the organism to be alive. So all the organism, they gain energy from the food. So food is considered to be the main fuel of the organism. Food is considered to be the main fuel of the organism for obtaining energy for doing all the metabolic activities of that particular organism. Okay, so here in that, what is the simplest food which is needed for the organism? So the simplest food it is glucose, whereas the complex food it is starch. Okay, so this it is considered to be the simplest food, and this is considered to be the complex food. So this 2, glucose and starch together, we call it as carbohydrate. So glucose, the food is an organic substance. So the simplest food it is the glucose, and the complex food it is the starch. So this both glucose and starch, they combine together, and it is known as what? Carbohydrate. Okay, so all the organism, they need food for its survival. So the process of taking in food and utilizing it by the body, that particular process it is known as nutrition. So before, one more thing it is that what is present there in the food? We are consuming what? We are consuming different varieties of food items, isn't it? So from that, what the organism gets into its body. So what are the important things which is obtained for the organism for its survival? So when we are consuming different varieties of food, we are intaking what? The different components of food. What do you mean by different components of food? The different components of food you have already studied in the earlier classes, that is in 7th standard and 6th standard you have studied. That is the main components of food. It is that vitamins, proteins, minerals, roughage, then carbohydrates. So carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, water and roughage, all these are considered to be the components of food. So when each organism, when they are consuming the food, what they are intaking? They are intaking all the different components of food. So these together, that is all these components of food together, they are known as nutrients. So all the components of food which is taken along with the food, isn't it? All the components of food together, they are known as nutrients. So how can you define by using this term nutrients, that is nutrition? How can you define nutrition? That is the process of intaking the nutrients into the body of the organism and utilizing it by the organism. That particular process it is known as nutrition. So nutrition, it can be defined as the process of intaking the nutrients into the body of the organism and utilizing it by the organism. The body will utilize those nutrients. Then it is known as what? Nutrition. So here, let us move on to the different types of nutrition. There are main 2 types of nutrition. One, it is the autotrophic mode of nutrition, and the other one it is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So, there are two main types of nutrition. One it is the autotrophic mode of nutrition and second one it is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In autotrophic mode of nutrition, what is meant by autotrophic mode of nutrition? Auto means what? Auto means self. Auto means self. So, self-nutrition. They are taking in the food on its own. They are preparing the food on their own. Nobody is providing that particular organism with food. Okay. So, they have the capacity to produce the food on its own. So, that is meant by autotrophic nutrition. So, what is meant by autotrophic nutrition? The organism or the mode of nutrition in which the organism, they prepare their own food from simple substances. Simple organic, inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water, and they produce the organic substance known as carbohydrate. So, that is meant by autotrophic mode of nutrition. So, those organisms which have the capacity to prepare their own food, they are known as autotrophs. So, those organisms, they are known as what? Autotrophs. So, what are autotrophs? The organisms which prepare their own food from simple substances like carbon dioxide and water. They are known as autotrophs, and that mode of nutrition is known as autotrophic mode of nutrition. So, simple example you can give it as green plants. So, simple example it is green plants. Second one it is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition means what? Heterotrophic mode of nutrition means these organisms, they cannot prepare their own food. They have to depend either on plants or animals for food. Such type of organism, they are known as heterotrophs, and the mode of nutrition is known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So, what is meant by heterotrophic mode of nutrition? The mode of nutrition in which the organism, they cannot prepare their own food. They depend upon either plants or animals for food. Such type of nutrition it is known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and those organisms, they are known as what? They are known as heterotrophs. And simple example it is human beings. Because we human beings, we depend upon both plants and animals for food. So, simple example it is human beings. So, I hope you have understood the main two definitions of autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So, in this, there are three types. Under heterotrophic mode of nutrition, there are three types of nutrition. That is, the heterotrophic mode of nutrition is classified again into three. One, it is the saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Second one, it is parasitic mode of nutrition. And third one, it is holozoic mode of nutrition. So, this heterotrophic of nutrition, it is classified again into three. One is the saprotrophic nutrition, second one it is the parasitic nutrition, and third one it is the nutrition. So, let us see the definition of all the three. All these, it is very important for board exam. So, let us see the definitions of saprotrophic nutrition, parasitic and holozoic nutrition. So, first one it is saprotrophic nutrition. Saprotrophic nutrition means the mode of nutrition in which the organism, they get the nutrients, or they gain the nutrients from the dead and decaying organic matter, that is from dead plants and animals and the rotten bread, etc. So, from the dead organic matter, they are gaining the nutrients for its survival. So, such type of nutrition it is known as saprotrophic nutrition, and those organisms, they are known as saprotrophs. So, saprotroph means these organisms, they consume the food or they gain the nutrients from the dead and decaying organic matter, that is from dead plants and animals. Okay, so those organisms, they are known as saprotrophs or saprophytes. Okay, two terms are there, saprotrophs or saprophytes, and how they do means they convert the complex organic, they break down the complex organic molecules which is present there in the dead remains of plants and animals into simple substances. That is, they convert into which form? Into the form of solution. The nutrients which is present in the dead and decaying organic matter, it will be converted into the form of solution, and in the form of solution, they will be consuming or gaining the nutrients for its survival. So, simple example we can give it as fungi. Okay, in the which comes under saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Second one, it is parasitic mode of nutrition. So what is meant by parasitic mode of nutrition? Parasitic mode of nutrition means the mode of nutrition in which the organism, they gain the nutrients from other organisms without killing or harming the organism. So the organism the organism which is gaining the nutrients, they are not killing that particular organism from which it is gaining the nutrients. So such mode of nutrition, it is known as parasitic mode of nutrition, and those organisms, they are known as parasites. So parasites means that organism will be living on another organism. So the organism on which the parasites live, they are known as the host. Okay, so based on the host and the parasite, you have studied in earlier classes in 7th standard in the first chapter. You have studied about the host and the parasite. For simple example, that is the cascata or the marble plant which grows on another tree. It gains the nutrients from that tree, but it is not killing that tree. A simple example which is present inside the not inside, which is lives in the body of the human beings, it is the lice. The lice which is present there in our hair. So it will be sucking the blood and gaining the nutrients. It will be living inside our hair, but it is not harming or killing the human being. So these are simple examples to show that they are undergoing the parasitic mode of nutrition. So those organisms, they gain the nutrients from another organism without killing or harming that organism. So that mode of nutrition is known as parasitic mode of nutrition. The one, it is the holozoic mode of nutrition. Holozoic means feeding the solid food. It is known as holozoic. So here in this mode of nutrition, the organism, they gain the nutrients from the complex organic substances. That is, they break down the complex organic substances by the process of ingestion. Then they undergo the process of digestion. Then the absorption process takes place. Then assimilation process takes place, and at last the digestion process takes place. So by undergoing all these processes, they will be breaking down the complex substances into simple substances. So that particular mode of nutrition is known as holozoic mode of nutrition. It is present in where? It is present in human beings. We people, we will ingest the food, then it is digested, then it is absorbed, then it is assimilated, and at last the unwanted substances is just ejected out from the body. So we are undergoing what type of nutrition? Holozoic mode of nutrition. So simple example for holozoic nutrition, it is human beings. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, that is nutrition in plants. Let's move on to the next topic, nutrition in plants. So, just like other organisms, plants also need food for undergoing all its metabolic activities. Just like animals. The animals, they move from one place to another in search of food. But whereas in the case of plants, they stand still and at one place and they prepare their own food. So, how does they prepare their own food? They prepare their own food by utilizing sunlight energy in the presence of chlorophyll and using carbon dioxide and water. So that is how the plants prepare their own food, or that particular process by which the plants prepare their food, it is known as photosynthesis. So photosynthesis means, photo means light, synthesis means producing or to build. So they are building with the help of light. So photosynthesis, how does this photosynthesis take place? What is the definition of photosynthesis? That is the process by which the plants prepare their own food in the presence of sunlight energy and chlorophyll by using what? Carbon dioxide and water. So that is how the plants, they prepare their own food. Now we will see in detail that particular process. So before moving on to the detailed process or detailed explanation of that particular process, we will write the chemical equation for photosynthesis. That is carbon dioxide plus water. These are the two inorganic substances in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. In the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, what is the product which is formed during the process of photosynthesis? That is glucose, C6 H12O6. C6H12O6 glucose plus oxygen. So we have to just balance it, the particular equation. So 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, it gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2. This is oxygen is released. They are using carbon dioxide and water for the process. At the same time, they are producing or they are releasing oxygen, and that oxygen which is released as a waste product by the plant, it is a very useful product for all other living organisms for its survival. Okay, so now we will see in detail how the particular process of photosynthesis takes place. I'll draw a tree. This is the leaf. This is the sun. From the sun, they are gaining what? Sunlight energy. And they are using what? With the help of the sunlight energy, they are taking carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide and sunlight energy, they are utilizing it for the process of photosynthesis. So here inside the leaf, what is present there? Chlorophyll. And what they are producing? Producing glucose. Okay. So with the help of carbon dioxide, sunlight and chlorophyll, they are producing glucose. One more material they are using, that is water. So water is taken with the help of the roots. They take water. This is the stem. Release what? Oxygen. The excess food is stored in the form of starch. So this is the diagram for the process of photosynthesis. So now we can see how the particular process of photosynthesis takes place. So here in the process of photosynthesis, sunlight energy, the sunlight energy, it is being present, which is present in the atmosphere. Sunlight is present there in the atmosphere. At the same time, carbon dioxide is present there in the atmosphere. So with the help of sunlight energy, that is the sunlight energy, it is being absorbed by whom? Absorbed by the chlorophyll. And the carbon dioxide gas which is present in the atmosphere, it is taken with the help of tiny pores which is present there in the leaf, which is known as stomata. The tiny pores which is present in the leaf, it is known as stomata. So that stomata, it takes that is the carbon dioxide gas, it passes through the stomata and reaches the leaf cell for the process of photosynthesis. So the stomata is the tiny pores which is present in the surface of the leaf. It is known as stomata. The main function of stomata, it is very important question for board exam. The main function for stomata, one, it is exchange of gas. And second one, it is transpiration. So, exchange of gas and transpiration, these are the two main functions of stomata. So, carbon dioxide gas, it is taken or it is being absorbed with the help of the stomata which is present on the surface of the leaf. The sunlight energy which is present there in the atmosphere is taken into the leaf with the help of chlorophyll. Then what happens? The water which is present there in the soil, it is being absorbed through the roots. From the roots, it will be passing through the stem and then it reaches the leaves. Okay, so the water is taken into the plant with the help of the roots. So that water, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll and sunlight, in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, they produce what? They produce the product known as glucose. So the food produced by the plant by the process of photosynthesis. It is the simple sugar. It is known as the glucose. And at the same time, that simple food or the simple sugar which is obtained by the process of photosynthesis, it will be utilized. It will be passed to each and every part of the plant. Each and every part of the plant for its metabolic activities. All parts of the plants, the food it will be transported for undergoing the metabolic activities, but the food fully it will not be utilized by the plant. So it will be converted and stored into the food, into the plant in the form of starch. So the stored food is starch. The prepared food is glucose. So it will be utilized by the plant for its metabolic activities, and the excess food it will be converted into in the form of starch, and it is stored in the leaf. Okay, the starch is stored in the leaf. At the same time, during the process of photosynthesis, what is released? Oxygen gas is released, which is not utilized by the plant. It will be utilized during night time for the it is used by the plants for the process of respiration. At the same time, large amount of oxygen will be expelled out during the process of photosynthesis, which will be utilized by other living organisms for its survival. So, previously we have written the equation. Once again, I'll write the equation. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, you will get what? Glucose, C6H12O6 plus O2. Okay, so this is the chemical equation for photosynthesis. So 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, you will get C6H12O6 plus 6O2. So oxygen it is released during the process of photosynthesis. Now we can just compile this explanation for the process of photosynthesis into three main steps. So actually the question for board exam will come in this particular manner. Mention the three steps which is involved or to explain the process of photosynthesis. Okay, mention the three major steps. So first one it is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. The absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. The second it is the conversion of light energy into chemical energy and the splitting up of water into hydrogen and oxygen. So here water which has been absorbed, it is splitted during the process of photosynthesis and then it is released out, isn't it? So the splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen and the conversion of sunlight energy, light energy into chemical energy, because the sunlight energy is utilized by the plants for the preparation in order to get the chemical energy known as the glucose. Okay, so the chemical energy it is being formed. Next, the third step it is reduction of carbon dioxide. So the reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen. Here the water is being split into hydrogen and oxygen, isn't it? So that reduction you have studied in chemistry in 10th standard first chapter it is. There is chemical reaction and equation. What is meant by reduction and oxidation? Reduction means what? Addition of hydrogen and removal of oxygen. That is meant by reduction. So here the hydrogen it is being added to the carbon dioxide. So reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen to form what? Carbohydrate. So the product formed we call it as the carbohydrate, C6H12O6. Okay, so it is carbohydrate. So these are the three main steps which is involved in the process of photosynthesis. Once again, I'll just consolidate and tell. The first step it is the absorption of sunlight energy by chlorophyll. Second step it is the conversion of light energy into chemical energy and the splitting up of water into hydrogen and oxygen. And the third step it is the reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen to form carbohydrate. Okay, so this is a very important question for board exam which will be asked for 3 marks. So you have to concentrate more in this particular area. You should know the explanation, you should know the diagram, then it will be easy to write the 3 steps in a good manner. Okay, next main conditions which is necessary for photosynthesis. So 4 main conditions are there which is necessary for photosynthesis. One it is sunlight. Second one it is chlorophyll. Third one it is carbon dioxide. And fourth one it is water. So these are the four main conditions which is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. Without all these four materials, it will not be possible for the plants to prepare their food. Among this, another one more question may come. What are the main raw materials for process of photosynthesis? So the main two raw materials for process of photosynthesis it is carbon dioxide and water. This it is known as the raw materials which is needed for the process of photosynthesis. So raw materials which is needed for the process of photosynthesis it is carbon dioxide and water. What are the main conditions necessary for photosynthesis? Sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and water. So these are the four main conditions which is necessary for photosynthesis. Here you will learn three experiments. That is, sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis, chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. And regarding water, we will learn under raw materials for photosynthesis. So among these three, the three experiments is also very important. You should know the explanation of the experiment because it always comes for board exam. The plus to know or concentrate more in this particular area because the questions always comes for board exam. That is sunlight, chlorophyll and carbon dioxide. These are the three and water. These are the four main conditions which is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. We will explain among the first condition that is sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. One experiment to show that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. So the green plants, they prepare their own food and they store their food in the form of starch. So starch is always present there in the leaves. So before doing the experiment, we have to remove the starch which is present already in the plant. So for that purpose, we will keep that plant in a dark room. So when we are keeping in a dark room, what will happen? The sunlight is not passing into that room. So the plants, they will utilize the stored starch for its metabolic activities for the process of respiration. Okay. So within 3 days, the starch which is already present there in the plant, it will be utilized by the plant. So after 3 days, we can tell that that particular plant it is de-starched or de-starched plant. Okay. So that the plant will be used for the experiment to show that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. So now we will see the steps which is involved in that particular experiment. Okay, so in the first step, we have to take a potted plant, the potted plant which is growing in the sunlight. We will take a potted plant which is growing in the sunlight. Okay, so that potted plant will be taken and then we have to de-starch that particular plant. Why? Because the starch will interfere in the experiment and we will not get the correct result. So here we have to remove the starch which is already present there in the plant. So we are keeping it in a dark room for 3 days. So after 3 days, then we can tell that that particular plant is de-starched. Okay. So before moving on to the experiment, we will cover. That is, we will take a potted plant and we will cover the middle portion of one leaf in that plant with the help of aluminum foil on both the sides, and it will be tightly put with the help of a clip so that the sunlight will not enter into that area. And then we will start the experiment. So after de-starching, we are covering the leaf with aluminum foil on both the sides with the help of a paper clip so that the sunlight will not enter into that particular part of the leaf. Then we will keep this potted plant under sunlight for about 3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 days we will be keeping this potted plant under sunlight, and after 3 to 4 days we will remove this aluminum foil and we will pluck that leaf. We will plug that leaf. So we will remove that particular aluminum foil which is covered on that leaf and then we will plug that particular leaf to do the experiment. So after plucking the leaf, we will put that leaf in a beaker. We will put that leaf in a beaker and then we will add what? We will add alcohol. Why we are adding alcohol and putting the leaf into that? Because all the leaves, they contain which pigment? the green pigment known as the chlorophyll. So if chlorophyll is present there in the leaf, then we will not get the correct result. So we have to remove the chlorophyll which is present there in the leaf. For removing the chlorophyll, we are putting the leaf in the alcohol and then we will do a water bath method. What is meant by water bath method? This is water. What is meant by water bath method? The beaker containing alcohol and leaf will be kept in another beaker and that big beaker will contain the water, and with the help of a Bunsen burner, we will heat the beaker containing water. Why we are not putting the beaker which contains alcohol and leaf directly on the flame? Because it is highly inflammable, because it may catch fire if you put directly on the flame. Okay, so that is why we are doing the water bath method. So when we are doing the water bath method, we will be heating the beaker containing water. So when the water gets boiled, it makes the alcohol also getting boiled. So the heat, it will be passed to the small beaker containing alcohol and leaf, and the alcohol will start to boil. Once the alcohol starts to boil, the chlorophyll pigment which is present in the leaf, it starts to remove from the leaf and it will be mixed with the alcohol solution. Once all the chlorophyll is removed, then the alcohol, the color will be green in color, because already all the chlorophyll which is present there in the leaf will be removed. And then after all the chlorophyll is removed, then we will remove that leaf from the alcohol. It will be a transparent. It will be a transparent leaf. It will be a transparent leaf. It will be a transparent leaf, and after removing from alcohol, we will wash it with water, because whatever remaining chlorophyll which is present there on the leaf, it can be removed. So we will wash it with water. So after washing it with water, we will put that leaf in a petri dish. We will put that leaf in a petri dish. So after washing the leaf with water, we will put that leaf. We will put that leaf in a petri dish. Okay. So after putting the leaf in the petri dish, then we will do the iodine test. So we will put 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution on the leaf. This is iodine. Iodine solution will be put on top of the leaf. So when we are putting the iodine solution on the leaf, we can see that the part which it was covered with aluminum foil will not show any color, any change in the color, whereas the part which it was shown or exposed to sunlight, it will show blue or black color when we are putting the iodine solution on the leaf. So from this we can understand that the sunlight is necessary for preparing the food, or sunlight is necessary for preparing the starch. So from this experiment we can conclude that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, and what is produced during the process of photosynthesis? Starch is produced during the process of photosynthesis. So these are the two main observations under this experiment, that starch is produced and sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. So I hope you have understood this particular topic. Whatever I have covered, that is regarding the nutrition in plants, all the points, what is meant by photosynthesis, the major 3 steps of photosynthesis, the condition necessary for photosynthesis, the raw materials which is used for photosynthesis, and in that the one experiment to show that the sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. So you should know the diagram very well. Then the explanation of the experiment is also very important. Okay, then regarding the first part of this chapter, that is what is meant by nutrition, autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition, all the points I have explained in detail. So I hope you have understood. So thank you, children.